This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by former middleweight world champion and now trainer, Darren Barker. Darren, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to be at the workout. Good to see so many people turn out. Sometimes these can be somewhat of a non-event, but this one, yeah, they've turned out. Yeah, I'm good. Other than my arms are hurting a little bit, but yeah, I'm all right.
There's obviously a few things which I'm sure I'm going to come on to questions which you've been asked previously, but just to get some clarification. First and foremost, your link up with Dave, is this a permanent thing? Is this official now? Because there hasn't been any official sort of announcement.
Yeah, we've sort of said, look, we'll see how Saturday goes, and we'll take it from there. But we've worked well together. He respects me, I respect him. He's responded well to the advice I've given him and tips, and I think it's something that would work well. But yeah, we're not looking beyond Saturday yet. But yeah, it's I've enjoyed it. He's enjoyed it. So yeah, it's. I've been saying my life's pretty uncomplicated at the minute. Things are quite good. I've got the business, I've got my family, I've got a few things going on, and all of a sudden the white rhino turns up on my doorstep and messes it all up. But nah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Now, I remember having a conversation with you in Newcastle on the Ritz and Patera undercard, and you were saying that, back then, Dave, if he just took it a bit more seriously, if he maybe settled with a trainer, he could achieve more in the sport. And you said you'd be willing to have that chat with him to see if you could do some work together, not necessarily as a head trainer, but just something with him. For how long have you had conversations with Dave just to do a little link up?
Well, to be honest, probably from that moment, I become an advisor straight away, and it was someone that, did just that, advise him on the right things to do, and obviously keep him away from the wrong things. And like I say, where he's got that respect, where I guess I've done what I've done in the past, he listens, and he's done that in the gym. And look, you need that. Like with me, with Tony Sims, Tony was my coach for, and I was pro 10 years, and I trained him probably a year before. I trained with him a year before I turned pro, so 11 years, and I needed Tony there because I respected him, not just as a coach but as a person, and I didn't want to let him down. And Dave's like that with me. He believes in what I say. If I say you can do this, he'll go and do it. And he's got evidence of that. In the sparring we've done, when I've said, look, if you throw this, it will work. And it's so important that you have a strong relationship, coach and fighter. And yeah, it does stem back from them months looking, in Newcastle.
I know you and Dave as well have a very good personal relationship. You get on very well as friends. Is there ever maybe a concern that that relationship might interfere with your working relationship?
Not really. For me, you need to switch off. You've got to switch off. You live the fight 24/7, but there's got to be time when you've got to understand that it is just a job, it is just a sport, and you do need to enjoy your life still. That doesn't mean going out, staying up late, and he doesn't drink anyway, but some people do drink and blah, blah, blah. But in between, when you're training hard and you're switched on, you can still have a laugh and a giggle like me and Tony did, and we got to the very top. So yeah, he has a laugh, he jokes around, but he trains very, very hard.
So what exactly have you been working on with Dave? What exactly specifically do you think he needs to improve, or he's been doing well on?
Look, it's not rocket science for me. In previous fights where he hasn't prepared properly, he's been slow and ponderous, and he hasn't moved his head. If he has moved his head, it's in slow motion. When he's thrown his shots, it's been in slow motion. So for me, it's about speeding everything up. It's not rocket science. Boxing's simple. When you break it down, you've got to hit your opponent more than he hits you. The art of boxing is to hit and not be hit. And it's about Dave, though his biggest asset is probably his chin. He can take a hell of a shot, but I don't want him to rely on that. I want him to move his head. I want him to avoid shots. I don't want him to be, at the 6th round and he's lost all 6 rounds because he thinks to himself, I can wear him down because I've got such a good chin. It's about just speeding everything up, keep it being simple. And yeah, we've been working on that, just breaking it right down and taking him back to, I guess, the fundamental basics.
I know obviously you don't want to look past next Saturday night, but where do you think Dave can go in his career if he was to continue to stay along the lines that he has with yourself and continue to keep himself in the impressive shape that we've seen him in?
That's a massive question mark for me. If Dave goes through the gears, not just with his hands, with his head, moving, missing shots, trying to outbox your opponent, look for these openings, that coupled with his durability, his chin, his heart and desire now, Who knows? It's the heavyweight division. You just don't know. We've seen him against just, for one shot. I'm going to take out, the big shot against Nick Webb. If he was to land that against any of the heavyweights out there, they're going to struggle to brush that off. So you just don't know. It's about taking one step at a time, staying switched on, keep working hard. And I've told him, look, your career will be over within a blink of an eye. So just keep plugging away and working hard. And who knows? I'll tell you one thing. If he doesn't win at least a big domestic title, he's underachieved.
To touch on next Saturday, though, Lucas Browne being his opponent for now.
Wait, sorry,
what?
Kids, yeah.
Lucas Browne, the opponent. What have you been looking at in Lucas? What type of Lucas do you expect to turn up?
Look, before you carry on, I've looked at the best Lucas Browne, and I'm expecting the best Lucas Browne. So going right back to the first question, if I didn't train Dave, expecting the best of his opponent, then what sort of coach am I? I'm not going to say to him, look, he looked slow, he looked terrible, he got knocked out, blah blah blah. You can't do that. You've got to expect the best, and I need him to expect the best, so he trains as hard as he has. So yeah, we're expecting the best. Look, the one thing that you hear all the time is the last thing a fighter loses is his punch, and we know that Lucas Browne can punch. So we've got to be very wary. But for me, the only way Dave loses this fight if he switches off. If he switches off for a split second, it could be a good night, and that's the end. So he's got to stay switched on.
Lucas recently fought Kamil Sokolowski up in Scotland, and he won over with a decision victory, but many had him losing that fight. For the fans or from people who watched it and thought that, is it easy just to read too much into that performance?
Look, it was a small hall show. It was tough for him to get up for it. A low league calibre of opponent, and it's very easy to drop down to their level. I've done it, many fighters have done it, but this is, top of the bill at the O2, huge fight, Sky TV cameras, thousands watching. If that don't get the juices flowing and get you up for a fight, then what will? So again, that's another reason that Lucas Browne will not be turning up. We're expecting, the Chungiev world title challenger, Lucas Browne, turning up.
So Alan Browne definitely headlining?
Well, they said it in there. They won't accept anything less. So I would hate to be Diamante on the night if he doesn't get the nod.
I also saw you in the ring with Conor Benn. Were you just keeping an eye over him, or have you done any work with him?
Look, I've known Conor since he come over here, and obviously he works with Tony Sims. Tony's not here today, so Conor politely asked me if I could just stand in the corner and make him laugh as he goes through the motions. So yeah, I was down there yesterday, down at the Matchroom gym, see Conor down there, and yeah, all the boys. So yeah, look, I learnt my trade from Tony. So
now, a few other quick things I want to get your opinion on. We'll start off with tonight, Lomachenko versus Andi. Your thoughts on that bout?
It's near on impossible, but it's a two-horse race boxing, so you never know. For me, Crolla can't stick to one game plan. I think he's got to have so many tricks up his sleeve. He's got to, if one thing's worked, can't rely on that one thing. You just got to keep mixing it up, unsettle Lomachenko. But it's easier said than done. I think Crolla likes to aggressively outbox his opponents, and I think that suits Lomachenko down to the ground. Someone who's walking onto his shot, someone who he can create good angles with. And yeah, for me, it's about just trying to mix it up as much as you can, but it's going to be tough.
A lot of fans over social media have given Anthony a bit of stick for having the opportunity to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. What are your thoughts when you see that? Anthony's worked himself into a mandatory position. He's fought at world level before. He's been a world champion before. What are your thoughts when you see fans giving him grief and stick for this opportunity to fight one of the best fighters in the world?
Honestly, are you allowed to swear on boxing social? Right, to all them Twitter trolls out there, just go fuck yourself. Honestly, it's ridiculous. A guy who's been through what he's been through, to get himself in that position where he's not been selected as a voluntary, he's a mandatory. To get to fight a freak of nature, if you like, one of a kind, and there may not be another Lomachenko, to then get stick to try and pit yourself against the best is crazy, and it sums up this pathetic world of social media that we've got going on at the minute. It drives me mad. I see a great thing the other day. the Joe Rogan show with Kevin Hart, and he just absolutely destroyed these losers who are out there giving people stick. Honestly, go get a life. Go get a life. Go and make your family proud instead of giving stick to someone. Because like Kevin Hart said, do you know how easy that is to do? You know, how boring is your life that you want to go and do that and take the piss out of someone? So honestly, it drives me mad. But do you know what? They go fuck themselves. That's all they deserve. They deserve bad language because, you know, we're out there working our socks off, you know, putting on great entertainment for fans to then go and give you abuse. It's not on.
And finally, next weekend, Khan Crawford. Your thoughts on that?
Do you know what? Crawford wins the fight for me, but I think Khan, through experience, through a little bit fear, maybe through boxing knowledge and IQ and his ability and speed, I think he'll go some rounds. I don't think it will be early, but I can only see one winner. I think Crawford is very unorthodox, punches very hard. He doesn't really take many shots. He's kind of a finished article in some respects, so it's going to be very hard for Khan, who's, look, let's face it, he's on the tail end of his career. You know, he's seen his better days. But look, he's a very good caliber of opponent. He's Khan, so who knows?
Well, Darren, I appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you too long. So thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
Sorry for the bad language.
Cheers, Darren. Thank you.